Hello, hello. 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me so we can start this. Let me know if you can hear the instruments, of course, bass. So we can start. This is the usual live stream. I'm not going to do neither transcription or the last one that was yesterday. I'm just going to go with the usual live solutions. So this is just questions and answers and trying to learn something about things that you have some doubts about. Some things we can share together, and mainly checking out some passages of some songs that I've been covering. Of course, that's another option, and that's it. So remember, there's super chat activated if you really want an answer. Also donations in the link below. Okay. So Martín Muñoz, Ben Ferry, Tesla Media, Kyle Sharmi, Ul the Glorious One, David CM, Nathan, Pringle, Rockin' La Ciudad Rec, Samuel Leumas, and so many others. Welcome. Okay. So I'm going to begin soon answering some questions. And let's begin. This is not in Spanish, as you can see. I will try to make the Spanish one tomorrow, okay? So allow me to say to the guys, el live en español lo intentaré hacer mañana. Creo que no habría problema de hacerlo el día de mañana. Así que no me sigan pidiendo weas, po, weón. Che tu madre. Okay. So, Kyle Sharmy, hey, recently rewatched all of your Red Hot Chili Peppers covers. I'm having problems with the high parts of Sick Love. Any tips for that? Okay, so let's go into that tablature in a while, okay? I don't really remember that song. I don't really remember. So let me some minutes to go into my software over here and search for the tablature, okay? In the meantime, saludos de San Antonio. Thanks for your pre-gig inspiration. Thanks to you, man, for watching, really. Oh man, thank you for your cover and tabs. Directiosk Rin. I don't know if I'm reading you correctly. Thanks to you, thanks to all of you guys for maintaining your support, of course. I've been doing some streams, some different streams, I guess, this week. And I think that the transcription one was really... It had really good feedback, so I'm gonna try to make more of those so we can experience more of the whole process that is my work, really. So you can learn something about that even. I'm looking for the tablature for Sick Love. Okay, here it is. So this song, let me remember. Let's go to the view, tablature view over here, and here it is. Let me see if I remember. Here it comes. This is the pre-chorus or the high part. I'm assuming this is the high part. You can correct me if it's not, okay? But this part is really interesting, so let's check it out. I think you can see, yeah. So here it is. Let's try to analyze a little bit of this. Okay, I'm pretty sure this begins in A minor, and it should maintain that way. Well, if we have the G major, it's probably more turned into A Dorian at the beginning, and mostly key of G. So we have in there's the line. So it's G, A minor, D, E, yeah, and D. So we have the first grade, second, 5, and 6th, and back into the 5, with different inversions. But about technique first, then we can maybe analyze a little bit of the harmony. We have a G over here. This is G, and you have unison, fifth, and octave played as usual, you know. Always remember to have a lot of differentiation between those notes, you know. Try not to mix them all together. Try to make tight sounds or legato, as it is always stated, but try to always not join the notes together. It's never like this and having a bad sound. Okay, try to go into one note after another and then silencing the note that was before. Okay, that gives you a lot of good ideas on how to make a clean sound. So we're going into G, octave, fifth, chromatic into A minor. Again, the same Same kind of deal over here, 5th octave, but then we have that, and that is a thing that I really like and I like to use, and it's the use of the 9th in this. The 9th, it's just like the major second of it, the note coming next to the root, diatonically, of course. In this case is B, but we're doing it in a 9th. That means after the octave, the repetition of the root, you will have a whole tone after that, and there is your B. So related into A minor, this should be the 9th. So you have a so this is sliding through the note, and for that type of sliding, remember, for most types of sliding, we're not trying to apply the same force as we are applying in the normal notes, you know, in the usual plucking. We're trying to play the first one, of course, and then just with a lighter touch of the left hand, trying to slide through and going back into it, just with one stroke. But this is never with a lot of strength, but because you will make damage to yourself, of course, and it will sound too much, too aggressive for what it is. So you go with your little finger, by preference. I always will try to remind you that to use your little finger, okay? But your finger goes in company of the other ones, okay? It's not just the finger going one position to another. You're going with your whole hand, okay? Like it is in most lines, you really need to support yourself with more fingers if you want cleaner sound to be executed, especially when you're having ranges of an octave, like here. And then you switch from this finger to the middle finger that goes like kind of like a up in front of the index middle finger, and takes this the 12th fret, then goes up into D octave. Then it's not that difficult, really. Okay, so I'm going to stop just to know if the guy is really getting it, because I don't even know if that's the part that he wanted. Okay, let me check. That's it. Okay, I like it. So as I was telling you, this needs to be executed really clean, especially when you're going into this register of the instrument. Especially with that, okay? But it's mainly trying to maintain good use of the root 5th octave, okay? Always when I'm confronted with the root 5th octave, I'm trying to maintain a type of ordination in my right hand. Okay, I usually begin with a index, then go with middle, and then repeat your index. Or you can do it more like I do most of the time, and that is repeating one finger. I know it's not the most standard recommendation, okay? You should always try to alternate, no matter what costs, okay? You should try to always do alternating, okay? Index middle by preference, by a more a strict preference, but I usually end up using more like the middle finger as my main entering plug. Okay, it's my one. Usually, it's my one is the middle finger. I don't know if that's correct or not. You should alternate beginning with the finger that you want. Really, it shouldn't be a problem as long as you'll try to alternate most of the time. But here I'm doing this. So I'm playing index, I'm repeating index, and I'm playing middle. So it's index, index, middle. That's the way I do it, okay? There's many other ways. It's just you can do it middle, index, middle, middle, index, middle, index, or even backwards, middle, index, middle. But I'm a little bit accustomed to do it like this, repeating one finger. I know it's and if it's too fast, maybe I will change it, you know. The main thing is you trying to apply all of this knowledge of different switching of fingers, but try to maintain knowledge of all of them. Try to use all of them in different contexts, okay? But I would recommend you beginning with alternating all the time, okay? And then for going back, I usually go with the raking again. Very important for me. So I end up with my middle, and then I go just with my middle finger going back into that. Okay, that saves me a lot of energy. It will save you if you do it, because you're just making one motion upwards, right? But again, it probably will not be the usual thing. You should always try to make it alternate again. But for me, it's already inserted in my brain, and I really can't do it other ways most of the time. When I'm confronted with this type of movements like this, again, skipping strings, it's always for me better to do the raking or the sweeping or whatever you want to call it. Okay, but if you manage to do that cleanly and well, it shouldn't be a problem with this one, okay? Especially when you go backwards into the root, because you will need to, otherwise, other than just sweeping or raking, you need to make something here with your left hand. You need to create mutings of the strings that you're passing through. If you maintain just everything pressed, it will sound like this. So you need to lift a little bit so it becomes a little bit of a ghost note. Not played, of course, but it becomes a muted note. All the time should be like that, okay? You get out of the note and it becomes not playable. That will give you a lot of grounds into covering getting out of the noise, okay? Of that undesired noise and that nasty, unclean playing that many of you probably may experience in some time, okay? So that's why it's important to practice all of this really slowly, because you need to process a lot of things, okay? But that's it, and that's the first one. Sorry if it took too long. Oh, oh yes. So how are we doing? Let me see what I missed. Okay. David has a question, but I'm going to read other things in the meantime. He says, "Can you talk about practicing fast pull-off?" Yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. Let me check what the people is talking over here. I've been playing for 8 years, and I'm also starting my plucks with my middle finger. Yeah, yeah. I like to read some comments after I say some things because it's interesting. My theory is that it's a little bit more common to start with middle finger, I would say, especially because of the construction of your hands, and mostly because you know, when you tap your hands, you usually start with this motion. You know, you usually begin doing something like this, not backwards. So it's kind of like unnatural for me to do it like this, beginning with an index. I usually go like this, or tapping or whatever, or maybe even depends on the construction of your hand. I don't know. Maybe if your middle finger is a little bit higher than the index, maybe you prefer to start with that one. I don't know. But the thing is, just trying to maintain consistency in alternating, I think. Okay. So thanks for your comment, Mega Class 1. Nathan asks, how often have you encountered modal passages in songs? Are they something commonly used or mostly in songs where the player knows his stuff? No, not really, man. About that, I would say modal harmony. It's quite common, but people doesn't most of the time understand why they are making it, and they are just getting with the sound, you know. And most of the rock era, you know, 90s and up, and from I don't know, from the Beatles, you have a lot of modal harmony. Okay, you have modal harmony when you do as this was, you know. Or maybe another easy example, if you're playing a C major, and then you go into B flat major, the usual B flat major you're doing, it's a modal passage. Okay, B flat, it's not part of a C major, right? If you take the scale, you have a B natural incorporated into it. If you go into B flat, you're making this C mixolydian. Okay, you're flattening the seventh. So that will make you a modal immediately. And many people just go with the sound of it just because they like it. Okay. Another example would be using an F minor in C major, or maybe using a D major in C major. All of that will give you Lydian fills, or maybe some other types of fills, modal fills going into your tonal usual harmony. Okay, so many people don't understand it, but it's just because they like the sound, and I find value in that also. There's no problem with that. So now we're going with the fast pull-offs. Okay, let me write that. You have an example for that fast pull-off thing? You can let me know. But I will always remind you of the main thing about doing pull-offs is not doing just this, just lifting up and down. It's not about that. Okay, you need to maintain your sound and maintain the quality of your sound, and because of that, you need to maintain the idea that you're playing those notes. You're not just lifting your finger, you're instead of doing that, it really changes when you do something like this compared to this and that. So what am I doing to make a really interesting and different type of pull-off? It's just lifting to the side, lifting and playing again the note in a way. Okay, so that will help you if you think your pull-offs are weaker than it should be, you know. And that is a tip that many people maybe will find useful in most of the time. But after that, it's just trying to relax and making the motion not by your fingers, okay? The motion goes less by your finger and a little bit more by the movement of your wrist, a little bit, okay? So with electric instruments and with a lot of distortion, you don't really need to worry about that. If you have lower action, and probably you can just, in a guitar with lower action and a lot of distortion, you can just do this and it will sound, okay? In a bass it won't sound really great if you just tap the notes slightly. You need to apply some pressure and take it a little bit more aggressively, especially if you want to just tap a note and maybe do something different here, I don't know. For that to sound, you always need to apply a little bit more pressure, but it's not aggressive, okay? It's just like fast motions. It's always velocity. It's always about velocity. Even with slapping, you're trying to apply speed into your motion, but not strength really. It's just the speed that gives you the strength most of the time. If you do it faster, it will sound more aggressive. If you do it less fast, it will sound a little bit less. I don't know. Most of the time, it's less about strength and more about technique and speed. Okay. So that's about fast pull-off. Okay. Oh, how are we doing? 35 people watching now. Okay. I will remind you to follow me if you want to, of course, on Facebook. And I'm always trying to maintain it informed when I'm going to do these ones. But you already know I'm doing them always on Fridays, okay? So expect them always on Fridays. Un saludo a Benjamín Vergara, que me ha visto todos estos días en directo. Watching from Japan. Wow, great. A lot of Portuguese that I unfortunately can't understand, so that's it. So I have more questions over here. Okay. When I play, I tend to press the chord next to the fret divider, making a bad fuzzy noise. How can I practice to don't do this? Okay. When I tend to press the chord next to the fret divider. Okay. We need to make a little bit more understandable the concepts, I think. I don't know if you're referring to the chord by chords, by this, or by the note. But I get the idea, okay? You should always try to maintain this motion while playing whatever notes, okay? You should always try to play the closest to the end of the fret, okay? Closest to the separation over there, the frets. Closer to the fret, but always not in the fret. If you do it in, it will sound like that. And as long as I'm going up, it switches back into the original and correct sound. Okay, if you do it in a lower frets, and you even go the opposite, if you go too much up in the fret, it won't sound that good actually, and that full if you do it more at the end of the frets. So should always be at the end of the frets and trying to take care of that. Okay, so exercises for that would be just trying to play really slow whatever you're trying to play, and pay a lot of attention. Okay, whatever scale or whatever note, all the notes should be at the end of the fret. Okay, and that will give you a lot of better sound all the time. So you can judge a bassist a little bit if you see him trying to play and always sticking to the middle of the frets. That's dangerous. Okay, most of the time it might be dangerous. It might give you some problems of tone. Even I think the richness of the sound improves a little bit if you do it more closely to the frets, but it might be just my opinion. I don't know. Okay, so hello from Russia, Thomas Cat. Thanks for watching me from all parts of the world. We have Russia, we have Japan. That's interesting. Hopefully you can understand me. I'm trying to do my best in communication. Okay, and that's why I use English. Okay, for all of you guys, because I assume the only thing that a Japanese and a Russian guy can have a little bit in common is a little bit of knowledge in English. You know, it's part of main culture. It's part of the probably capitalist culture, but I don't care. It's the thing that it's that the language, you know, confronts the barrier of the country. Okay. If we all end up speaking English, I wouldn't be mad really, because it will just make us more united in concept. Why not? I have a problem when I try to move a power chord, especially when sliding to lower notes. I press down so hard to fret properly, and when I try to slide my fingers, just don't move. Okay, and this kind of like it answers itself if you watch my comment about sliding, but I'm going to go again a little bit more into it. Okay, because it kind of like involves all the types of sliding, especially when you're sliding through chords. It might be a little bit hard. Okay, I press down so hard to fret properly, and when I try to slide my fingers, just don't move. So you yourself have your own problem. You understand that you're pressing too hard, and that is a common mistake, I would say, when you're starting to do all of those things. It's just pressing and locking down your positions that hard that when you try to move. Let's make an example of a song, probably with John the Fisherman. Why not? It was something like this, I think. Yeah, something like that, I would think. So what am I doing when I'm moving a lot of notes at the same time and I'm sliding down? Um, if the song needs for me to slide and create the sliding sound, you will just slide down, right? But the movement by doing that, it's not just aggressive. Again, as I just said, it's not just going like this and burning your own fingers with the movement. You know, you don't want to do that. You just want to release a little bit of the pressure while going down. And if you have to just go down but you don't have to slide, it's even easier, because you have to just release a little bit of the pressure and then go and press again. So it's okay. So always if I'm going down with power chords, when I go up or down, I need to release a little bit of the pressure and then go up. Okay, always trying to do that, always trying to practice that. And if you have some silence in between, it's not that important if the song allows you to do that. Okay, if the song wants you to make the sliding parts, it's a little bit more difficult. There you have to slide but maintain a little bit of the sound. So you need to slide, but always when you're sliding, I would say always, you reduce your pressure, because you will get damage and you will get worse sound if you do it with full pressure, okay? So you release your pressure again when going in the movement, and you regain all of that pressure when going back into the other position, okay? So that would be a little tip about that. You can let me know if if it helps you a little bit, okay? Should I push my ring and pinky finger together? It kind of looks like you are. Yeah, that's another interesting thing that you can apply. Just going back to the last part. Try to move yourself, move your hands and move your fingers in blocks when you're doing a lot of movements and a lot of chordal movement. It's always good to move your hands and fingers together in blocks and trying to maintain support and locking the positions, okay? When I'm doing that, I'm not, if I'm doing something like this, I'm just locking my position, so that position just goes down and locks itself again in a different fret. But I'm not doing like something like this. I'm not releasing my position and then going back into it. I'm just locking it. And something that it's a little bit important also. When I'm attacking, I'm pressing down a lot. At the same time, I'm plucking or strumming, or I don't know, I am pressing down a little bit harder. That will control the sound just by my left hand. So if I want to stop the sound, I can just go and mute with only with my left hand, okay? So yeah, that's it. Samuel Leumas I'm having problems with the triplets in Winona's Big Brown Beaver. Can you please help? Please help. Okay, let's go into that. Why not? All of those are songs that I really don't remember. As you can see, I need to search for the score. Primus, Winona. Okay, there we have it. So let's go into the triplet part, but first let's just remember this tune. And then you have that. Let me remember. Yeah. Okay, I remember this song was with a lighter touch, and it had a lot of gain, so it was a little bit easier to do all of that if you're thinking about applying less strength. So I would recommend you first trying to up a little bit of the gain, so it sounds a little bit more friendly to do it with less touch. There it is. So the thing is, obviously, trying to apply the ring finger. Okay, for the triplet itself, you will need to do a ring middle index. Okay, so you can do it with your little finger, or you can just go and trying to do it really slow, so it's okay. So I remember it wasn't that exactly rhythmically precise, this song. It has some things that it looks a little bit silly, like the song it is, and it's a little bit of a wonky line, but always well executed, of course. So you have a something like that. So again, try to isolate just one measure of that, one bar, and just go trying to manage the hammer-on, of course, and then go with your ring middle index. Ring middle index, and that index can just rake into the 10, the C. So first try to isolate only that part and try to go ta ta tu boom, tu boom, or like this. Ta 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 boom, tu boom. So the triplet itself with these three fingers shouldn't be that difficult to achieve, because we're a little bit accustomed to do the typical tapping, you know, and so maybe it wouldn't be that hard to just go into the rhythm of it, but try to even out the attack of those three fingers. Try to make it a lot more even. So this finger will probably sound with less strength than the other two. So try to even out all of that. So another little execution tip that I'm thinking about, probably try to play a little bit more next to the neck. There it will be a little bit more easier to rebound of the notes, so you don't get stuck. And I think I'm not really sure, but I think Les Claypool, he actually used a little bit more of this position and less going into the bridge. I don't remember. If you get it in that speed, then it's just trying to work and applying a lot of your muscle memory, I would say. Then you have lines like that. It's a little variation. But it's always with the same motion right here in your right hand. When you have more notes to play, it would be probably a little bit more difficult. But as I said, again, I remember the song being not that clear in the execution of the triplets. It's more like a little bit of a stupid thing, with a lot of sound of the fingers, actually. But yeah, that's with the triplets, I would say. I don't know if I think there's some other difficult parts at the end with some harmonics. I don't remember. Yeah, something like that. And that was a little bit interesting. I don't remember. So the main thing would be practicing this. Preferably, you know, trying to do a lot of metronome action with this one. Always metronome. And if you don't have it, try to tap around with your own rhythm and try to go tap up. Okay. And that's it. I don't know what else to say. Most of the time it's just trying to get into it and practice a lot. Okay. Back into this. Okay. All about playing slowly at first. Yeah. You're not playing with pick now, but I always wanted to ask you, what kind of pick are you using? Thickness and maybe brand? And are you choosing for each song? I'm actually not choosing for each song. I'm just using this one. Let me say it's a Dunlop. Yeah, it's a Dunlop USA 1.5 millimeters. Right there, it's a little bit of an alligator. I don't know. And I just stick a little bit to them because, of course, they are a lot thicker than the usual guitar pick, but not that thicker. Just a little bit more, so you don't get that tired of acquiring more power when you're playing with your pick over here. Okay. So when you want to apply more force, you just go and use the weight of the same pick to go into it. Okay, you don't need to apply much strength with your own hand to get a good thicker sound. But it just depends on you really, and it should depend a little bit on the song. There's probably some songs that want to emulate more of a lighter attack, and for that you should need maybe just guitar picks. I don't know, it just depends on you. For me, this one works well for most of the time. Probably if I want to do something a little bit more difficult, it will always be recommendable to use a lighter pick, trying to make, I don't know, whatever kind of solo in here. I don't know. I don't know if I would recommend it to jam or shred in a bass solo using a pick. But it sounds great for me. I don't know. Normal guitar pick for everything. My only one from Dunlop. Yeah. Do you use 5-string basses? No, I don't, and I don't have one. And I'm not thinking about having one really. I like the 4, but probably I will have in one moment or another a 5, because I want to have more versatility in what I want to play and what people are asking me most of the time. So sometimes I have to refuse people, going into me by Patreon or whatever other place, and me saying, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have a 5. I can't do that because it would be too much of a low tune, and it wouldn't sound great. And sometimes I just have to down tune this to B, and it's a little bit difficult to maintain a good sound with that. Of course, you can apply more thickness into your strings. You can buy more thick strings, so that low tuning doesn't affect too much. But I'm not thinking about that. I will consider it. Many people, I don't know why so many people ask me about the 5-string thing. I don't know. I didn't knew really that many people wanted to have one, or wanted me to have one. Do you have any advice for muting? Okay, most of the time here we try to make a difference between what is muting and what is ghost note. Okay, so I will play ghost notes for you. But then for me, muting is just applying something like this. So I always make the difference with that, okay? You can tell me, you want to know more about muting or more about ghost notes? So we can be more clear about what we want. And there's also this type of muting that involves playing whatever and always maintaining muted sound of the notes that are not involved in the moment, so you don't get bad dirty sound. Those three types of muting always confuse me when people are talking about that, because I don't know if it is one of the three. So you let me know. Bass videos GSR420B. I'd rather have a 5-string, but I choose a 4-string for my first one because I didn't think I would use the 5th string. Yeah, it's I don't know. I wouldn't say I would use it that much. I'm really accustomed to the 4 by playing it, you know, a lot of years. But I don't know. It might be interesting in some time to get a different instrument and be a little bit ignorant on how to use that new characteristic of the instrument, but with the familiarity of what you know. But it's not that different. It's just another B over here, and the intervals are kept the same. And if you're having a 6-string, I think you have a the G and then probably a C. I don't know if it's a C or a B. I'm not clear. You can let me know. Okay, can you talk about slapping? Yeah, I know we're going back into this, but yeah, I think, man, in every live stream that I've done, I have some tips about slapping. Okay, so if you want to go back into them, there's no problem. But now you need to be a little bit more specific. Okay, what do you want to know about slapping? Really, I can just talk about it, and it would be just talking about it. Maybe you give me something that you want to know. Maybe you don't know nothing. I don't know. You can let me know. But I think I need a little bit more specific questions now. Okay. But yeah, I will remind any of you that slapping, it's always based on your own preference. I would say there's many types of slappers out there doing their own thing, but they are all always followed by kind of like the same rules. After a while, it's just managing in your right hand to use your wrist most of the time to maintain a good motion, and only your wrist. Okay, it's just that movement that should be the most healthy movement to use. Okay, it's not your arm, and it's not just the finger. It's the joints of your wrist. And as I was saying, fast motions will give you more strength, not really a more aggressive motion. Okay, that will only damage you in a long term. So if you have an open string, I remember just practicing this open string and having it really well executed all the time, because when you're first beginning into slap, you will play one note and one every 10 or one every 5 will be good, but the others won't. It will be just like and just skipping it and not getting the accuracy of it. But after a while you will get some consistency of having the same tone for each one of them. And then you can differentiate your options really. I most of the time prefer to just slap and then return with my hand in a neutral position, right? Slapping and going back, and with that motion, that kind of like a whip motion, I end up not stressing myself with a lot of strength, and I'm maintaining my position over there. But some other guys and many guys usually kind of like mix the two of them, as I do. They just slap and rest the hand in the next string, and that is a good option also. Okay, and it may be useful for some higher techniques, really, to maintain a good motion, right? But by doing something like this, most of the time when I'm just using the slap and not the pop, I'm trying to do this slapping, but going into the string that goes right next to it, so I can maintain a better consistency of it. Okay. What the fuck? Well, I guess I have someone here to ban. Goodbye. How can I help with my string ringing? I'm putting down as much pressure as I can. Sometimes it will still ring. Please help. Okay, let me read this again. I have my string ringing. I'm putting down as much pressure as I can. Maybe that is the problem. You don't need to apply all of your pressure. Really, it might be difficult, but if you're seeing you have a really locked down position, and you know, and if you know these things, if you know you're playing in a fret, in the end of the fret first, you're having a lot of good grip into it. Maybe you're using not just one finger, you're using a lot of fingers, maybe 2 or 3, to maintain this good note. And it still sounds with a lot of fret bass even if you're playing it really slightly and you have a lot of fret buzz, that is just about what you can do with adjustment. Okay, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing physically if you are playing really light with good grip and you still get a lot of fret buzz, and you don't want that. You can first raise a little bit of the action of the strings by using your Allen key over here, or you can go and play a little bit with the truss rod, okay? But always with care with the truss rod, of course. You need a bigger Allen wrench to go into the little hole that's over here, right here. And if you go and turn it, and I never remember actually. If you turn it clockwise, you will release a little bit of the tension of the neck, and if you turn it clockwise, it would be applying a little bit more, I would say. I never remember that, but that's why I always go and watch a tutorial before doing it. Okay, there's a lot of tutorials of bass adjustment that you can watch, but after that you will get a little bit more adjustment, and maybe go and check out if you have too much fret buzz. It should be fixed with both of that adjustments. Okay, but I would say most of the time it depends on the execution. If you're having a good execution, it shouldn't be a problem if you're playing lighter. And if you want to have more fret buzz, you just can dig in a little bit more and you will get it. Who the hell mixes racism and spamming in one sentence? Yeah, that was really weird. I got a little bit scared. ¿Qué amplificador debería comprar? Depende de tu presupuesto realmente. No podría decir, pero el que tengo yo ni siquiera recuerdo la marca. Pero no era un muy buen amplificador, la verdad. Hay que tratar de usar Hardkey o Ampex si puedes. Esos generalmente son buenos. O se escucha harto también Aguilar. O no recuerdo más marcas. No soy muy de marcas. No creo que puedo ayudar mucho ahí. Ok. Any advice for a beginner? I'm always thinking about the best advice for a beginner, and I would say it just play every day. Really, that should be one of that really important advices. Play every day, even if it is 1 minute. Okay, don't be so cheap and do just 1 minute. I mean, you can do 10 or 15 in a day. Why not? Even if you have 2 jobs and 2 families, I don't know, you can play 10 to 15 minutes one day. Why not? And that will give you the real consistency on whatever you're doing, because repetition will be your friend, really, when you're doing a beginner work. Repetition will kind of like confirm your technique, and that repetition should be well executed. Okay, so always be aware of your positions while you're playing whatever. For that, you need to play slowly. Again, another tip: slow, constant repetition, and position. Okay, positions are a thing that will not be erased easily if you do it badly. So that would be really important. Okay, again, as usual, thumb behind the neck, pointing a little bit upwards. Never a really bent wrist. You can bend it a little bit just to get over here, why not? But your main neutral position should be not a bent wrist, and your arm moves around into your body, and your fingers just press down and up. Okay, usually it's one finger per fret, your position. This is called an open position, in which you're playing with one finger per fret in 4 instances. For a locked position or a more tight position or closed down position, you're fixing all your fingers into an octave. That meaning from here to here, and you just stick all your fingers in there. And again, same for the left hand. Maintaining always distance. In here, there's a lot of distance. You're never gripping like this. You're maintaining your distance, and you're always thinking about grabbing a deck of cards most of the time, okay? So, what I was saying, thumb behind, wrist not that lift, always in this position most of the time. Your arm goes inwards into your body, open or closed position, you maintain that, okay? For the first frets, it will be always a little bit more difficult. You need to exaggerate a little bit more of your arm, okay? It's your arm that goes around the neck that allows you to keep better grip of the notes, okay? It's not your wrist that bends, it's your arm that goes around like this. Just look at the movement of my arm when you're going from thicker string to lighter strings. Never applying too much pressure with the thumb behind. The thumb is just there for position. Okay, you should be able actually to just play whatever thing without the support of your thumb, like this. Here's my thumb over here. But I'm just applying some pressure with my own arm going back into me. Okay? Let me block the guys over here. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is happening. But yeah. What I was saying, okay. Yeah, the arm is really important. Go around if you think you're getting too locked down. And over here, just stick your arm into your body. right hand, always important, trying to maintain good position of your fingers and trying to go with your thumb, okay? Trying to go along with your thumb while you're playing alternating. Okay, fixing your position around your thumb going up and down the strings. That will be always important, okay? And what else? Yeah, good grip over here, arms, and alternating, okay? There's a lot we can talk about positioning really, but that's the main thing, okay? Always relax, always consistent in dynamics. That's always important, okay? But yeah, there's many things we can talk about. Oh, okay. Can you talk? Yeah, I was just talking about that. Great. Can you help me with the muted parts in The Awakening by Les Claypool? Sure, let's go into that song, okay? I think this would be kind of like the last part of the stream. Okay. I don't know what the fuck happened with with the two guys giving messages over there. I gotta be honest with you. I don't get really upset by the word because you know, I'm from Latin America, and in these areas you don't have a word that's not allowed to say really. So that is a little bit curious for me, a little bit funny to always think about how it's so much restriction about that word to be said. But yeah, I know the background story of it, of course. But I'm really not against saying whatever you want. It's not the word really, it's the context of it. You can just say it, and without context it's just a word. So I don't know why people get so mad about it. What the fuck? Okay, I'm blocking some guys. I just do it because I think I will get in trouble if I just allow them to exist. Let's go with Primus. Let me check. I think I have it like Les Claypool, actually. Les Claypool, The Awakening. So what did he want it? Okay, with the muted parts. I don't remember this song. Okay, so what are the muted parts that you're referring to? Okay, I need to understand. Do you want the slapping part with the muting? What do you want, really? I don't remember if there's just a muting part. Again, with the muting concept, I'm never clear about people talking about muting, because there's many types of words that are used as muting in bass specifically. But yeah, you have this. Okay, I'm going to wait for you to let me know, okay? Do you know To Do Goodbye Angels? Yeah. I'm going to do the song. Come on. The slapping part, the end. Okay. The slapping part at the end. I don't see any ghost notes or any type of a. I would say the main use of ghost notes, if you're referring to them as ghost notes, would be the main riff. I would say maybe something like here or here. There you have something. Maybe it's that. This. Well, if it is that, and that is interesting, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Always remember, ghost notes, same thing over here in slapping parts, okay? Same as just doing it with fingers, right? Placing your hand with most of the fingers you can, especially for these parts where there's a lot of strength, trying to use 3 or 4 fingers over here. So you go for slapping, you just need this sound all the time, okay? All the time this sound, never like this, never like this, more like this, okay? With a lot of fingers touching the string, so it gets a lot of muting done. And for the popping, the same, okay? But you're using the beginning of the joints of your hand over here to mute that part, okay? It's more like your hand gets involved in the G string, so you go. It's slap pop, no, slap pop, slap pop, slap pop, slap pop, slap pop, slap pop, slap pop. SP, 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 SS. Okay, I don't know if that's the part. You can let me know. I don't know. And we can talk a little bit more about that. Okay. No, el interés no es ser mala onda con los que pedimos Goodbye Angels, pero se entiende que en algún momento la voy a tener que hacer, sí. Se entiende, pero ahora mismo estoy tapado de trabajo. Same thing for you guys. I get it. I need to do Goodbye Angels, but this is no time for requests because you have all the other times for that. But I'm present that I have to do that, so don't worry about it. Okay, it will come. Okay, so you wanted advice on muting, but related to muting undesired strings, right? Muting notes that you don't want to be that sound to exist, really. And for that, you always need to go around whatever you're doing and think about this. The notes that you're playing most of the time should be just the ones that you are executing and playing. But if you were to stop the time and someone will come and say, okay, let's play this string, and if that string is sounding, you're not doing your muting well, because you should always be muting notes that you're not playing. In one way or another, it should be like that. Okay, so if I'm playing this note like that and I'm maintaining a good line, I don't know, let's play that as an example. I'm never doing this. Can you listen all of that sound that comes out of that? Because you're not touching all of your string, you're not stopping the sound of all of your strings. So if I'm playing this note again, I'm actually muting all the other notes. So if someone came to play whatever other strings, they all should not sound. This G string is not sounding because I'm muting with my hand, with the beginning of my hand. Same with the D string and with my left over fingers, because I'm using my pinky, my little finger for this E. I'm using this finger and this finger to mute the E string. So this is the only string that is actually sounding, that is actually having the opportunity to sound. And why would you do that if you're just playing this one? It doesn't matter if you're just not muting all of the other notes, but it does really matter, because when you're switching to another note, you will always be in danger of having noises that you don't want them to be heard. So you go, and then you secure. Securing a here means you're muting this string, and probably this one also. This one doesn't matter that much. Okay, you could mute it, but having noise from here to here would be really difficult. Okay, but all the time I'm muting, I'm in contact with my strings. Even if I'm not playing them, I know where they are, and I know if they are ringing or not. Okay, that should be kind of like an explanation of that. I should have written the title for that, but I didn't. Okay, if we don't have more questions, I think I'll be going for now, okay? The jet cover is coming this week, next week probably. I don't know how's this schedule for just uploading the songs now. But I have two more that you already saw. I actually had to erase the the live stream from yesterday because it had too many worldwide blocking. So I won't be doing, unfortunately, I won't be doing the jam along sessions here on YouTube because they will always get blocked. Okay, the transcription maybe I'll do, but the other things I don't think I will. Do you have the Fender Just Bass Signature Flea? No, I just have this bass. Teach us how to slap as Flea, lol. Explain for the thumb when we slap, please. I was just talking about it, okay? You can rewatch the thing and some information will be there. I can tell you're getting tired. Yeah, it's been a long week of streams, but I need to make it a little bit shorter. Okay, so I don't think I have that many attendance today, and that's good because I can I think I focused more on the question that people gave me. So I hope this helped a little bit, but now I think I have to go. Okay, so if you have final comments, you can let me know. I'm just going to play a little bit. But yeah, what do we talk about today? Many things. We always talk about many things. Copyright sucks. Yeah, it sucks. Thanks, man. I love your channel. Has helped me a ton with my cover band. Kevin Enos. Thanks so much. Quick tips for practicing with metronome. Stick to the metronome and try to, if you can, set one bar with metronome and one bar with no metronome. So that bar with no metronome will be just your own interpretation of the metronome, okay? The metronome should be always played with so you get into your own type of rhythm, okay? I don't practice a lot with metronome. I prefer to practice with my own rhythm because I have it a little bit developed probably. But if you think you have no rhythm, that's a lie, okay? You just need to get a little bit of a guide and then get rid of it, and you will understand that you can follow the rhythm. And mainly try to dance to it, okay? Try to dance to it in your mind. Okay, I think that's enough. So that's it. I will be seeing you next week, probably next Friday, and I don't know if I'm doing more of those streams. Probably in the week I'll do a transcription. I don't know. So that's it. Hope it helps as usual, and I will see you the next time. Okay, goodbye.